Hey, welcome to UK Wildcrafts. I'm out for a forage and a walk in South Wales. I'm where the River Wye meets the Severn Estuary, and this is one of my favourite places to come foraging because you've got a nice mix of habitats. You've got estuary mudflats, lots of ancient woodlands and loads of hedgerows and fields to explore. So let's go see what we can find. Okay, this is a good place to start my forage. Got some lovely Marsh Sfire. This is one of the main reasons I've come to this spot to forage today, because it's the perfect time of year, right near the end of June, to be picking this Marsh Sfire, and I know that this is a really good spot for it. There's a good mile or so along this estuary where there's Marsh Sfire everywhere. It's quite shallowly rooted, so just make sure you're using a knife or a pair of scissors to snip it at the base. I end up eating so much of this raw when I'm picking it. It's got such a lovely salty, irony flavour. You want to get it before the central stem starts getting too woody. So I'll pick a good amount of these and I'll pickle some, and some will probably go into my dinner tonight as well. Alright, that should do me for samphire. Got quite a nice amount there. I wouldn't want to even guess how much this would cost me at a market. It's pretty expensive stuff. But delicious and fresh. I'll get a nice few jars of pickled samphire out of that. Alright, let's move on and see what else we can find. Here we've got some nice sea aster. These younger spoon-shaped leaves are tasty. The leaves are quite succulent, and just like Marsh Sfire, they're quite salty and irony. These are the florets of common hogweed. They're a bit like broccoli with a cardamom flavour. The plant with the whitish sort of grey colour is spear-leaved orac. This is a decent edible. Especially the younger shoots like this. I've just hiked quite a long way up the River Wye to one of my favourite bits of woodland where I'm going to camp out tonight. I really like this bit of woodland because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere and nobody ever comes here. In fact, I've never seen anyone here. There's not really any paths leading this deep into the woodland, so it'll be nice and quiet. This looks like a nice place to set up a tent. It's nice and flat. When you're setting up camp in a woodland, a couple of things you've got to check for. Never camp underneath any mature beech trees because they're known to drop their upper limbs. Even in nice calm weather like this, they can just snap off and drop on you. And also look for any widowmakers, which is standing dead trees, because they can fall on you as well. So I'm going to get camp set up, get a fire going, have a bit of an early night tonight, and then get foraging again early in the morning. This is home for this evening. My secret to a good night's sleep when you're out camping is to have a blow up mat. I've got the Nemo Tensor, but have a bed sheet. I've just got a single fitted bed sheet. It cost me like £2 in Tesco. These don't take up much space, but they make it feel more like a normal bed, because I hate sleeping on these directly. They've got a horrible sticky feel. Now I've got somewhere to sleep, I'll start working on making a fire so I can cook some food. The place that I'm going to have my fire, I'm just cleaning away the leaf litter for about a metre or so around it, just so the fire doesn't spread. I've found a dead silver birch tree here. This will be useful for getting a fire going. And it hasn't been dead too long by the look of it, 'cause it's still nice and brightly coloured. So this tree is a really good friend if you want to get a fire going. There's lots of flammable oils in the bark. So I'm going to cut off a bit of this bark. So before I try getting a spark, you've got to make sure you get everything set up, ready for your fire. So I've ripped up some little strips of birch bark there. Got some dry twigs, some more bigger bits of bark, and eventually I'll move on to bigger bits of wood. So I'm using a bigger piece of birch as a bit of a base, just to protect any embers. If they fall onto the ground, then they'll go out straight away. But if they fall onto this, then they should be alright. And I've got this piece of bark and I scraped off some of the woody area, so I've just got the reddish brown bark like that, and then just with my knife I'm going to scrape that so you get this almost like sawdust. And this sawdust is packed with flammable oils. Okay, that should be enough. I'm just going to get my ferro rod and strike it onto that. There we go, got fire there. Just get some of the other birch bark. Just keep feeding it these little strips. I'm just building the fire up and then I'll let it die down so then I can cook. It's better to cook on embers than on high flames like this. So I'm just going to chill out for a bit and have a cider. It's quite nice that it's letting off quite a lot of smoke now because the bugs are just coming out and that smoke should keep them away. Just going to make something nice and simple like I usually do when I'm camping. Got some chickpeas, some cooked grains, some red pesto, and I'll use some of the greens that I've picked today. There's a nice quick and easy nutritious meal for when you're camping. I doubt I'll eat all of this in one go. I'll save some for breakfast. Alright then, let's carry on foraging. Here we've got linden flowers with that lovely honey-like scent. You've only got a short window of a few weeks to pick these. It's quite lucky because I've just about run out of last year's harvest. So what I'll do is at home just lay these flowers out on racks and just leave them to dry completely, and I'll use them for making tea, especially mixed with pineapple weed. Makes a nice relaxing bedtime tea. Here we've got pineapple weed with its unmistakable pineapple smell. June's a great time to be picking wild strawberries. They're easily missed if you're just walking down a road like this. If you look into the hedgerows and move the leaves around a bit, you'll start seeing it's absolutely packed full of strawberries. They are tiny compared to cultivated strawberries, but they're really tasty. They're probably too small to do anything with, like making jams, but they just make a really nice trailside nibble. I'm going to use most of this Marsh Sfire for making a quick pickle. So normally when I make a quick pickle, I'll add the vinegar mixture in with the ingredient into the jar hot. But the problem is with Marsh Sfire, it will go all brown and soft and lose all its lovely colour and crunchy texture. So what I'll do is I'll blanch the Marsh Sfire quickly and then add the vinegar in cold. So I've boiled some water. I'm just going to pour that over the Marsh Sfire. And leave that just for around 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, drain it. And then as quick as you can, put some cold water in there. The cold water will refresh it and stop it from going brown. I've drained the samphire and now put it into some sterilised jars. And then make a pickling liquid of 2 parts vinegar to 1 part water. You can use apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, but I wouldn't use malt vinegar. If you want, you can mix some herbs and spices in there, but don't add any salt, because these are already very salty. So store these in the fridge and they should last for several months.